This is my old 90s Hardrock Specialized mountain bike. And this is what happens when I turn it into an adventure bike. As usual, let's kick things off with a strip down. A good old-fashioned time-lapse strip down of this gorgeous Specialized 90s Hardrock. This is from the last of the steel era of retro mountain bikes, and it's got this gorgeous candy paint. I bought this bike probably nearly 10 years ago now, and it's been in a couple of incarnations. I only bought it for 20 quid back then. It's before this stuff really came to fruition. After the strip down, the next step was to rebuild the headset. It was totally seized. So we had to get that out, get some fresh bearings and some fresh grease in it before we moved on to the next part of this build. So with the strip down done, next up, as you can see, I've already started in a lot of ways because before this was put away it was spotless. I'm going to carry on polishing, ceramic coating, making it as shiny as possible. So crack on with that. Flick another time lapse on, I reckon. With that gleaming candy red, crisp paintwork, sparkling in the sunshine and all ceramic coated, looking amazing, it's now time to work out how I want this bike to look. The minutiae of the design. And to be honest, at this point I've tried so many different things on this bike and nothing's worked. And you're going to see Workshop me in a minute finally celebrate the fact that I've decided what is going to fit on this bike, how it is going to turn out as just a badass retro adventure bike. I think I've got there with how I want this bike to look. Gold is some of my favourite alternative bars. Got a spare pair of On1 Jeffs. I'm going with them, you know I love them. Got the right wheels, got the right balance of retro and modern. I've even found some Ritchie Logic canties to go on this. I think we've found how the bike is going to work out. So after a really disjointed, bumpy beginning, if you're still here, you're going to enjoy this build. This bike is going to be slick as anything. I know it, I can feel it. It's going to be brilliant. So, I'm going to crack on with it before I change my mind. First up, we're going to get a nice chunky modern through axle crank on this bad boy. I'm going to go for just an old Shimano deal. It's been polished up silver. It's going to work really nicely with the candy paint and give us that lovely look of modern components on a retro steel frame. Next up, a bit of Dior XT. It's going to work nicely with the groups that I've decided to add, which is going to be 9-speed with a wide range cassette. I've also added a chain catcher because I'm not using a narrow wide chainring here. Had this lying around, decided it would do the job just fine. Okay, so next up we'll get those Ritchie Logic brakes in place. We're going to grease up the spindles, pop the brakes on and tighten them up with the Allen keys that match the brakes. If you've not fitted canties or V-brakes before, remember to locate the tensioner spring in the middle hole on the brake boss on the bike. This will allow you a good starting point to have the right tension for both the front and the rear brakes when you set them up. Right, so the cantilevers are now in place. Richie Logic, nice, the choice of the cantilever connoisseur. These have not fought me, they are fitted perfectly, and I'm very happy about that. Let's talk a little bit about the wheels. Now, we're staying with 26 on this. I've got some nice Mavic rims laced to Dior hubs. These might look like the wheels off the gravel budget build. They're not. They're different ones, they're similar, but they're not. Because as you know, if you haven't seen that video, gone 650B with that, and I think you enjoy that video if you like this kind of thing. Nice pair of Mavic rims, laced to Dior's, got 1149 speed. This Billy Bonkers tyre on this one is off the gravel budget build, and because of my calamity out riding the gravel budget bike, I mullered one of the tyres with a brake block and a stick. So we now have a brand new fresh one for the back. Starting to actually feel a modicum of excitement about building this bike now. I think it's going to be badass. It just wants to fight me before it gets there. Anyway, enough of this. Let's just build it. Build it, make it, build it. With those wheels in place, it's now time to fit those all-important adventure bars. I love these On One Jeff bars. You've heard me go on about these on the channel so many times. They're comfortable and they look brilliant on the bike. The shifting is going to be taken care of by a 9-speed Shimano Alivio shifter. The brake levers are Tektros, I believe, and then I'm putting BMX style grips on these bars. They always work well. The longer BMX grips just give you more hand positions to keep yourself comfortable on longer rides. Okay, so with everything on the bars, it's now time just to adjust the shifter and the brake levers to the position that I want them in. I'll obviously tweak this again once the bike's on the ground, but it just gets it ready for the next step, which is threading all the cables for the gears and the brakes. I'm going to start with the gearing at the back. Being as we're doing a 1x, very simply, we're just going to be going straight back to that rear derailleur, threading the cables through, and then giving it a good old index up. But before we do that, we've got to put the chain on. And as you can see, really straightforward with that chain guide. Just thread it through the chain guide, around the chain rings, make sure it's the right length, put the quick link in, you're good to go. With the gearing all set up, now we've got to sort out the stoppers. With canty brakes, first thing I'm going to do is put a straddle cable in between the two parts of the brake. What you're working with really, ideally with whichever type of straddle cable you use, you want to try and get something like a 90-degree angle when you pull up the straddle cable. That's going to give you the best braking power that you can. This one isn't far off. It's hard to tell the angle with these Tektro adjustables that they basically can be locked in place to just tweak the brakes at the end. So the one thing I want is minimal clearance and a good pad angle. With the rear all sorted, all that's left to do now is the front. We're going to repeat the exact same process. With that front brake pretty much finished off here, all that's left is to make sure you trim all the cables and put your cable ends on to stop them fraying, and it's time to look at the finished product. Whew, so there we go, it's done. Hard rock is done. You may have noticed wasn't that much footage of setting the brakes up, because actually I've been shooting so much today the phone died, left me hanging. But I finished it. The hard rock is complete. It looks so cool. Cannot wait to get out and ride this. I think the bars look great. They really suit it. They give it that kind of resto mod kind of vibe. We've ended up 1x9. So we've got 32 at the front, 11 to 40 at the back. Billy Bonkers tyres have gone on. They've really filled this bike up. Compared to the Diamondback they were on, this thing's just, wow, there's not much more clearance to work with. But it's all good. Brakes feel good. Gears are working. Cherry paint job is just popping. All that's needed to do now is get a bottle cage on it, decide on a saddle, because this is an old BMR dirt jump saddle. I forget what they were called. I've had that since about 2005. It was rock hard then, it's rock hard now. I won't be riding on it. Thinking maybe might go classic, might put a Brooks on there or something else, but not that. So all that's left to say is I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other adventures and my other technical videos. If there's something you'd like to see me do, explain in more detail, put it in the comments. Let me see if I can put a video together for you. So all I want to do is put videos together, technical stuff that you might find useful yourselves. And with that, thank you to those that have subscribed already altogether. It wasn't a group decision. Thanks to those of you that have liked and subscribed already. I hope your next ride is downhill with smooth tarmac. Keep your wheels spinning, keep your rubber on the road. Most of all, be safe out there. Have fun, happy trails, go ride your bike. Thanks for watching.